I just feel an urge to try and communicate a lot of. I want to fight structural racism. Now, before, I didn't have a problem communicating straight from my heart and having respect because of the way I looked, um, because my family had already done a lot of generational wealth in their own building a name in society. So, yes, in some ways, I've had a little bit of privilege. Not a lot, but I mean, I don't have billions of dollars, but I had enough privilege to have a decent life. I wasn't going to be in poverty. Poverty is a man made situation. It has not ever occurred in this country because of um, there's a lot of systems in place in New Zealand to catch people and make sure they don't fall into poverty. Now, I want to say I've taken responsibility a lot. I'm always taking responsibility. I took responsibility. I'm only a small girl, and I'm humble. This is where I'm very angry because they're taking the piss. These people are taking the piss, and not only that, they need to respect where they've built their wealth. Do you understand where I'm coming from? I'm somebody that respects people's hard work, as in, I don't, because things take time to grow, and this is why it needs to be respected. Because it's not just like these people fast tracking to the future. I mean, it's good. Like I've seen a lot of Asians do it in their CVs and things like this, and I've also experienced a period in my youth where instead of really learning things properly, my intellectual brain was always like spinning very, very fast. I don't know if I've got ADHD, but I was a very fast, very, very fast, like, and I was always picking up concepts very, very, very fast. And what I've learnt in this situation is there's some sort of Chinese, the Chinese have some very interesting spiritual lessons in their fables and their stories, and they're really, I've grown up with these as well, and they're really interesting, and they're actually a lot of wisdom in them. And it was about, I think it's called the Monkey King, and he goes and he's very, very smart, and he's very agile and very, very um, his mental capacity is huge, and he's just like very curious, and he's finding out everything, and he gets very, very, very excited about power, and it becomes like a drug to him, and he's just wanting more and more information, more and more information, and then something bad happens to him. I don't know the full story, but this is where I have realized in my life the experiences I've experienced is through my period of wanting all this information and wanting the power so quickly. Um, it wasn't about wanting power. I just wanted the money. I wanted the security. I wanted to have a great life straight away. And I didn't have a mum and dad. I'd just seen TV shows, and I'd gone to work and stuff, but we never talked about these things. We're Chinese. They don't really talk about things. Generally, well, not my family. My family are doers. They do things. Do, do, do. Show how you feel. Do things for other people. Kind service. Things like this. And this is how I've grown up. And that's why I knew I was loved. There was a lot of attentive, quiet, cherished support that I miss. And I um, am grateful for because it shows that I'm human. And in that time where I've learned about learning things so fast and trying to be so drunk and thirsty for knowledge, I realised through one period of my life, and I can't remember exactly what happened to me. I know I had a spiritual awakening, and I realised there is some quote about there's no point about education unless you've got a heart. And this really is the lesson I learned from this Monkey King and this experience is that there's a thirst for knowledge and a thirst for power, but there's no point unless you bring common sense and your heart along with you, because you just can't appreciate it, because there's always more, isn't there? There's always more, more, more. And the thing is there's a very good lesson in learning things a long way and having time to toil for the fruits of your labor, because you appreciate what you have. And it's, it really is how it is. Like you sometimes, and so what I'm saying is I'm like this with my relationships. I put time and energy to nurture and feel human connection. It's something I very much value in my growth, in my journey. And right now I'm experiencing huge direct direct discrimination from a disability, from my face being abused. Um, and it's also making it very hard to talk when you're being abused, like like very disrespected. I'm not used to this hostility. My family are girls. I've never had this kind of hate. We've always been accepted and had peaceful, harmonious connections. And so for me to have to take this on, it's very hard for me. Um, because I can't just cut off my feelings and be hard and cold and a leader. I take my heart with me with every decision nowadays, from learning from this Monkey King lesson. Um, the thing is I've been a victim of this group of people, and the thing is it's not so black and white, like she's beautiful, I'm ugly. I had my life ruined, and it's been a continuous event of them oppressing me and abusing my rights to go forward in my life. So that's where the hypocrisy of these people are coming in. They want the high standards, they want the perfect couples, the perfect looks of each other, the perfect love. But they don't want to put the time in. They want to put the time into being narcissistically gods of beauty, of seductive appeal, to dress up and look like sensational, sensual beings of society that are seductive and beautiful and exude gods of like some sort of Egyptian movie. But what's happened is I've had harassment, and where I'm a person that has done nursing and I have done counselling, I want to advocate for Jenny as an outsider. So I want to speak about myself as the second person. So Jenny has been really victimised. So her face got disfigured. There has been no institution or organisation where this government says that they are meant to protect us during times of criminal behaviour. And that case, I am starting to be very wavy about whether it was the police or the gangsters. At that time in my past, I believed it was gangsters and a group of girls promoting themselves as um, influencers. I think they had a marketing HR company like really promoting them. So while they first had a taste of promoting themselves as public figures, my journey became an inward journey of my face being disfigured and finding out the racism of society and the racism of our government of denying me the right for any investigation of my water poisoning, my face poisoning, which makes me feel like, was it the government because I'm not getting the help? They didn't compensate me for the hate crimes in the public that I was an ugly faced dog. I don't think my mum knew how to fight it. I think she tried her best and got like what's it called? One of those lawyers and a private investigator, and she found out that somebody knew somebody that was high up in the police or something like this, and we all backed off. So that we had to leave it, even though there was a disgusting sex tape and toilet videos. And I know my mum did everything because she was actually, my family were all crying. I don't think my mum has, I just think my mum's a complex person. Like if she's going through something and she's not healed, she may be a hateful, narcissistic type. But when she feels like when things are going okay for her, she is genuinely a loving kind of person that's genuine. Like she would actually give the shirt off her back and do anything for you kind of person. And I'm the same. So she definitely did everything to try and help me in that situation. They got a private investigator and somebody in authority shut us down about a private hard drive showing sexual tapes in my house where Nadia was. And I've got a one photo of some mold on the wall. Um, I was getting it extensively and getting extremely sick, and now I believe it was foul play later on because I'm getting it so much. And so that not only are the people that are judging me so horrifically and creating the discrimination in the public to the people to hold some sort of power over the people that I'm less quality, they are also making my life hell by keeping my quality of life less than these women. And I'm just saying, but they only came into power with knowledge that me and my ancestors have walked with. My mother, my mother's mother, this is our heritage and our beautiful lineage of women that have come through. My sister is also very nursey, Marina, and Jodie. They're both actually very nursey. Um, Jodie is she does kind services, like when she shows love, just like I do, and so does my auntie Leanne. Marina also does, but she actually has a lot more active ideas about how to put things in place to keep things moving forward. Intellectually, her whole discrimination about me being autistic should actually be, if I am, it should be my superpower, shouldn't it? It's just that I have not, my mum, I've never had problems that bad with any relationships. In my past, my exes, yes, but I'm having disability discrimination because I had my face ruined and then somebody has attacked me violently in all these crimes, and it's making my emotions shut down. And instead of giving me the privacy, they're victimizing me by filming me and harassing me and bullying me in a massive sociopathic group of assholes acting like they're superior. And I'm going to tell you, it's really scary because my mum owned a business and created a community of love. They weren't her, nobody was in love. It wasn't but there was, what I learned from working in her cafe was there was an energy exchange of service, of kindness and caring, because we were taught to put a lot of caring attitudes into our service to the clients. And so I've done that, and so I was always getting the good energy back. But they went on this case and framed me for years that I had bad karma. So in this time, I've been shafted out of my own generational wealth by a group of people who are very narcissistic and acting kind of like Adonises of the public eye, of the social media, and influencers of body perfection. They are creating this kind of illusion that I created this karma myself. And I'd like to say, no, I was victimized. I had my face ruined. The police denied any access to information about why this guy had a hard drive with sexual violence and pooing on it, and why nobody could do anything about it. My mum tried. She really did. And she was crying at one stage. So if you see her hating, I think she's scared if she doesn't do what they say, she's going to get beaten. I don't know why she does what she does, but I do know she cried her eyes out. As I saw her breaking down at Terry Kitto saying, Ruben does not respect her. I don't like what they're fucking doing to her. And he goes, and the landlord too. She said the landlord, this is what I heard her and Terry saying, how the landlord was abusing me in the public. This is about 7 years ago. And I would just want to say that Jenny was a beautiful girl and she was extremely intelligent, but I still had a disability. And I still was
targeted by people that are really good at stealing people's identities, criminal behaviour, nefarious criminal behaviour, building these walls of shame in the public eye, outcasting me as a side chick. But it's still an identity theft, because that's exactly what they do in identity theft. And I've been scammed and scammed and scammed, and the police haven't done anything. And I've tried to contact the police to complain, but these people are disabling me when it comes to the system. So the system is completely toxic and abusive, so I'm being institutionally abused. So the police didn't do anything to help us in the past. So what I'm saying is I believe the government has stolen our generational wealth and our generations of love, and it's very cruel. And for Steve to take me here and bring me through all this abuse next to Poppy about being the healthiest, I think it's totally a war crime. It is, because it's unethical. I'm very abused. And I've got a level 4 trauma, and they're exploiting me as ugly in my bedroom. They're exploiting my work abilities, and it's not appropriate. If they go on about standards, but what's with the standard of coming in my room, and then you cannot tell me they're not benefiting from what my family and her friends and my friends, because suddenly I'm getting HIV jabbed. So they're trying to hide something. You have to extremely ask some questions, and why the police are selling photos of me in Australia and damaging my name and reputation and abusing me as a dog, and why I cannot access to talk to any of my exes when I was trying to ask for information. They are abusing me with wiretapping and going to see these people illegally, these black ops, by illegal ways, like illegal criminal ways of wiretapping and spyware, and going to interfere with my connections. And in our legal rights, our citizen rights, we have a right to enjoy our life without any governmental interference. And so I have shown videos that I've tried to ask for help from human rights and police, and it's always being blocked out. I'm being really abused from any rights on the system, and my rights were taken 7 years ago, and these black ops have been sexually abusing me and trafficking me for years, and they haven't been asked or talked to, because their whole end game was to basically steal my whole life so that their family can take over an empire that my family have built. And it's not just like, it's everything that I've worked for. I was a really healthy person 2 years ago, and I can tell you a lot of herbal remedies. It's on the, I've done it a long time, because I believe in herbal remedies, and same with counselling. I believe in it. I don't really believe in psychiatry. I mean, I haven't read a lot about it, but I've watched some of the people in a mental hospital, and in my experience watching some of the people, I don't think the people that I had seen were benefiting from it. But there were people that maybe have needed it, that were really highly on meth and drinking and things like this. I thought maybe it benefits them, but I don't have enough interest to have any, to read about it or study it. I don't care really. So it's just my opinion. I don't really believe that it's that helpful to just diagnose somebody and give them pills. I don't think it's really getting to know a person in a whole situation. It's kind of seeing a person, looking at a symptom and trying to say this is a pill that they need to stop that symptom, instead of saying, somebody like me that's been starved of any support for more than 4 or 5 years, and I have a real need to communicate, and a real need for a community, and a real need for social acceptance, and a real need for social support and love, and a real need to be free in my social systems. And because I don't like it, and it's abusive, I think it's really fucking abusive, and there needs to be some sort of criminal investigation of why they're doing it to me, because I'm a disabled woman, and it's a discrimination that I'm lazy, and I'm not. They injected me with HIV. What are they trying to take off me and my family? And years of emotional support for other people shows I have a depth of feeling for other people. And so I'm just being discriminated about the way I look, and discriminated against in science about autism and about being happy. But if I've got depression, how come everybody felt happy around me? You look at Robin Williams, isn't he a depressed guy? Like, he is so funny and happy. That's what I was like. I went out and put in so much energy to being such a happy person, and I was attracting this energy to me. And it's like these people want to dissect me and police dissect me and profile me, and it is part of a structure of racism. It is erasing an identity. It is police profiling, and they've made me in sort of like a racist, colorist kind of identity, and I feel like I just had my rights taken and they want to tell me that's who I am. But I feel like I've had quality education. I may not have a degree, but I feel like I've had a fine arts diploma in photography, and I didn't finish it because of the circumstances, and it's not my fault. It was out of my control, and it was a bit of a rash decision. That's the only thing I would say. It was a decision I made out of fear and sort of being peer pressured, because I think my friend was very worried that I was going to sit around and wallow in a failure. I think he didn't want me to sit there being a failure and just sitting there like doing nothing. At the moment, it is my choice to be sitting here and doing nothing, because I don't have choices in society like you do, because I don't have the choice to email people. When I go meet people, I don't have the choice to meet them. They're all in threads, which means the police has some sort of investigation link or this criminal organisation. So whoever I talk to, everybody gets to know what's going on. I'm also continuously watched on apps against my will, and so they've kidnapped me for years, and I've been sexually violated for years and years against my will to cause racism. And so what I'm saying is I just feel like a body that's here to be raped. I don't feel like a human, a genuine, compassionate human being with a consciousness that's got an ability to heal people and communicate intellectually and make people feel welcome and make people feel valued, make people feel compassion, make people feel loved. And this is my gift in life, and it's a gift my grandmother gave my mother, and it's a gift she gave me, and they are taking this away from me and my family because they are settling their roots in this country and built an imperialist kind of business where I'm being outcasted. And so Japan went on this generational warpath to take away everything that was honourable in my life to give it to their valued daughter. And I'm saying it's not very fair at all, as she's put me in the garbage and the toilet, and it's against my will. And I'm also completely confined in a cage, and there's also a lot of damage that's been done with this video that I'm a prostitute when I'm not. I was not easy at all, and I'm very upset about it. It is sexism. There is a fascist regime, and it's rampant military kind of military, and these coups run that I'm a liar to silence me and punish me, and there's no human rights. They've blocked all the human rights. There is racism and sexism at the structural level, shaping our race and gender inequalities. The racism is, when it's structural, our institutions, the interpersonal relationships become internalized belief systems that I'm less quality, that I'm less value. And what I'm saying is, can't we reframe mental health and my intellectual ability and my beauty to being, this girl's a survivor. She still got up and tried to go to work every day for 7 years against a group of people that wanted to take over Christchurch and have barricaded her out making it very hard to meet her own esteem needs. She still has, in that time, been teaching English to Korean women. She has still done jobs in Australia and kept going even though her face got disfigured, which shows I'm a fighting spirit to try and make change for tomorrow. I'm not really about fighting people, but I am angry about these controlling, dominating kind of women that just sort of seem entitled to take over anything that is a legacy of mine because they deem themselves pretty, or they want to be seen as more appealing because they're soft-hearted looking. They want to appeal and take over more control in a subtle way by abusing me with image-based violence, that they are more worthy of love because their eyes sparkle more, or they look better on a camera, or because they go to work every day. It was always this racism of comparison where I was laboring for free and not getting any of the results of what I've worked for. So instead of letting me go ahead after my jobs and having institutional support when I'm being abused of my rights, they were just letting me be abused by these women who were dominating me and saying they're more beautiful and are more entitled to a better life, and just dragging me around in the public, making me a spectacle against my will. And it caused me a lot of psychological pain and misery and torture, and there was nothing I could do. They keep going and they don't care. They are still to this day creating racial segregation on the internet, taking photos of me, bullying me. It is creating mass inequalities of power. The reason they want bullying is to establish that they are more powerful and more beautiful, so they get to punish me and have more friends and be the most seen than me. And what I'm saying is it's still a crime, though. You can be beautiful, but if you're abusing and victimizing somebody in their home, you have some sort of codependence on abusing me to feel powerful, which means these women don't have esteem. They're coming at me with extreme racism and prejudice that they are entitled to be treated with like some sort of narcissistic special treatment because they believe that they are special because of their faces, because of the beauty of them. And me, I had beauty, but I didn't. It's very different when you have your beauty and nothing bad's happened, because you're not aware of, like, my brain, because I'm aware of myself and my past and now, so I am more like, wow, like I was treated more kind back then. But I still think people would have been kind to me had the social media abuses with the photos all online hadn't happened. Had these apps going on that I'm fucking ugly, like really abusing my rights, had these kings with these chats abusing me with racial segregation and all of my housing hadn't happened, I don't think I would have been treated with discrimination. Because when I was meeting people 3 years ago, I had nothing but warm-hearted people still wanting to know me. They didn't care that I was ugly. I would tell them my story and I'm like, I'm very sad that this happened and it's made me a very insecure person now. I was a very confident, self-assured, and it's very harmed me and my self-esteem. And they would be open and want to talk to me about it, and I like to be open about my feelings with people, and they are taking advantage of my vulnerability and just beating me and cruelly making me feel like I am unworthy of being allowed to talk to or connect to anybody. And the thing that I think is malicious is that they've taken Stephen, a man that's very, very fat and middle-aged, very old, and he's got nothing going for himself. Do you know what I mean? I liked him because, like, he's down to earth, and I was wounded, and he obviously has had some same sort of wounds, and we had stuff to talk about. And it was, and because he was kind of Christian, and he had been estranged from his kids, and he liked to have time to talk to somebody, like company, and that's all I wanted from the guy. Just a little bit of company when I felt lonely, because I feel so abused, and they want me to stand up to women with extreme power, and it's such an unequal, it's so abusive. It's like taking somebody from their home where they're working really well and doing something positive, taking me back to this country to persecute me, fire me from my job, give me HIV and put me to death. At what point does your beauty or your corporate job or your corporate title or your position as a musician or your extreme beauty from being an Asian or your like extreme power from being somebody in government give you the right to take somebody else's life, whether you like them or not? Like, what gives you the right to do that? Because I've done nothing. I was an extremely beautiful, lovely woman